Cool.
Okay, welcome to our Team Challenge Zoom. First of all, I really would love to have, a bigger team, and so invite more people onto our team because it's really fun to get more chatter on that group wall and everything. And so you guys can, there's that invite link. You can get your points by clicking on that. But I've never had anybody join that way. So if you actually want somebody to join, probably the best way is to copy the link URL and then message it to some of your friends and just say, hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to join me? And, you can tell them what you like about them or whatever too. So that way you can get some points and you can also have people join our team, which just makes it more fun for everybody. Okay, so I had a couple things I was going to talk about real quick. First of all, I'm going to show you this little video. I'm sorry, I don't know really how to work my technology too good. So you're going to have to just, go with what we've got.
Oh, you got it.
It's working.
Here's a little video. Hopefully it'll work. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, sorry, I don't know how well you could see that, but that's my 3-year-old, and I love April Fool's Day, and I love to prank my family. And if, in case you couldn't tell what the video was, we just keep down the faucet sprayer part, so when you turn on the faucet, it comes and sprays you. Have you guys ever tried that trick?
I've never tried it, but that's great.
I've had it done to me before.
Okay, well, you got to do it just because it's just fun. So the funniest part about that, though, to me is every time I do that, literally, I do it every year. Actually, this year I totally forgot. My husband took over, thankfully. And every time I do it, what ends up happening is I end up sabotaging myself. And because I forget, and it's a total habit for me to go over to the faucet and turn on the faucet and expect to get water out to, pour into my cup, like normally happens 364 days of the year at my house. Well, so even though I'm the one that actually set it up, or my husband this year, we'll go and get ourselves on just because we forget, and we're in that habit of turn on the faucet, water comes out. And I just think that's really funny, and that kind of relates a little bit to how our life goes. If you have a habit, sometimes you just go through the motions without even thinking, and you're going to get wet or whatever. And so I just want to kind of remind you guys of that. And I don't know, can you think of any habits you guys have that might be self-sabotaging in a way?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't think of any.
Oh, man.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Trent, we'll make up one then.
Yes.
Make up one and just...
I'll think of one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Trent.
My worst habit right now is mind over mattress. I cannot get my butt out of bed to exercise. Like, the alarm will go off, and it's just too easy to hit the snooze button. And I've gone through phases before where, like, it's like nothing to get up and go run or just jump on the bike and go for a ride. But, like, this past couple of months has just been like, I cannot do it. I have chosen not to do it.
Yeah. So do you feel like a lot of that is a habit thing, that if you could somehow tweak a little thing that you can change that habit? Or do you feel like it's like, I'm just being lazy and I don't want to get out of bed? Or maybe it's both?
Well, I think it's both. I think part of the problem is, now, like before, my reading was done with a book, and now, I just use my phone or my iPad, but that's also what I use for my alarm. But by the time I'm done reading, like too tired to get up and go plug it in somewhere else. It requires me to actually get up to go turn it off. So I put it right by my bedside. That's just like a recipe for disaster because it's just so easy to reach over and turn it off.
That is a good point. So I guess
So-
one trick that you could do is go back to the old school alarm system, right? Like you don't have to change your reading because I'm sure that's a good downtime thing and a educational thing, you know, for you to do, kind of wind down. So maybe you don't want to stop reading out of that like you do, but you could get old school alarm and just set it across the room. And
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. You probably have other maybe ideas that could work. So how about you, Tracy? Did you come up with any?
Yeah, I have the nighttime one, not the morning one, which is, you know, the day is done, hard day at work. Gabriel's upstairs getting ready for bed, so it's responsibilities are over. And so what I want to do is sit on the couch and turn on a TV show. And of course my mind says, okay, I could get, you know, dumbbells, or I could do a little exercise while I watch the show. But my habit is, nope, get the blanket, sit on the couch, snuggle up, and of course, you know, hang out there and watch a couple of shows before going to bed.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that I'll tie mine into that. You guys just made me think of mine, which would be I get on the computer every night and I go on Facebook and check to see if anybody's asking questions or anything. And then I just get sidetracked, and literally I can spend hours each night just sitting on my computer going through things. You know, how sad is that? I mean, I have a husband that's home for a few hours a night. I should probably just shut off my computer and be with my husband and sing my kids' songs and stuff to go to sleep instead of hurrying and rushing in there because I got to hurry and check my stuff. So I don't know, whatever, you know, if those are habits that you guys feel like are self-sabotaging a little bit and it's something you want to change, maybe this week can be the week to work on that one habit. And I love kind of to do that and just pick one thing and make that be your focus, because we can all do one thing, right? Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to talk about. And then, just, you know, one other thing is kind of, and this is sort of on a different topic, but like the language that we use can really change how we approach our days and how we approach life in general. And so, for instance, if somebody says, you know, say somebody talks behind your back or something, you can look at it like, he stabbed me in the back. You know, that's kind of one language you can use. Or you can kind of flip your perspective and say something like, yeah, I'm sure he was just having a bad day. And so, you know, kind of the same idea with on the program. You know, you can look at it like, oh man, I only get 3 condiments a day. Well, can I do this? Or, well, can I, you know, add this in? And the answer is you can do whatever you want. You know, you can eat whatever you want, but if you want to follow the program and have the results that the program is basically guaranteed to give you, you know, by following it, then you follow it, you know, and, you know, and sometimes I'll ask my clients, you know, Marcia, are you trying to figure out how you can do what you have been doing and have different results?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times it just takes getting out of that habit of doing what we always have been doing in order to get the results that we actually really want. So anyway, so, you know, what if every time we had a negative emotion or pain or some negative thought or anything, we just, or like say we have this hunger feeling, or maybe we have a craving for something that we don't really think we want to have. What if we just pretended like, so every once in a while, okay, so just side note, every once in a while, just for spiritual purposes, once a month or so, I might choose to like fast and go without water and milk and food and stuff for a while. And what I use that, every time I get that hunger pain, I use that to think of, you know, whatever it is that I'm hoping to have change in my life, or to pray or whatever. And so just kind of that example, but you can do the same thing with program. Anytime you have a craving or anytime you have like something that you wish you could have, you know, because we all do. I mean, as much as we'd like to say we're healthy and we always want to eat healthy food, that's not really the reality. And so, but every time if you have that experience, maybe you could just say, you know, use that as maybe a message from, you could pretend it's like your best friend giving you a nudge to say you can do it, or, you know, something like that. And so change your perspective and the way you look at those feelings and those thoughts, and make it be something that can move you forward towards your goal. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then just one last thought I had is the antidote to fear is gratitude. And you can't really feel fear and gratitude at the same time, or you can't really feel, you know, regret and remorse and gratitude at the same time. So, you know, I think a lot of times if we can look at where we once were and where we are projected to go towards, or where we currently are, then we can maybe remember some of that gratitude. As you're looking back in your past and finding maybe some times when things weren't as good as they are now, then that can help you to remember, oh wait, things are actually better than I thought. And that can help you also move forward. So I don't know, what, anybody have thoughts on all these kind of totally random thoughts that I had?
Yeah, that's something I've really had to focus on lately. Like, I still have like 20 pounds that I want to lose, and I get really frustrated sometimes because it just seems like it's taking forever. But what helps me to sort of put it into perspective is to look at where I was, you know, a year and a half ago, and how I spent from that year and a half until back 20 years, how I spent my life and the choices that I made that kept me as fat as I was, and look at where I am today. I mean, I was to the point where like the thought of eating broccoli was like, oh, hell no, that's not happening. And now it's like something I enjoy, and that's something that's good for me. And so I get down on myself because it's just not coming off fast enough. Or I'll go out and ride with these guys that I would have been able to keep up with, you know, 25 years ago. And I get down on myself because, you know, they're like, I can tell they're like slowing down to let the fat guy catch up with them. And instead of being thankful that, you know, 75 pounds is gone and it's a lot easier to climb up this hill, I'm focused on what I don't have. And when I change that viewpoint to focusing on how far I've come, it completely changes my outlook on life.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier to sort of be patient through while my body is learning to, or while my body is getting rid of the fat that I still have to lose, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I think, no, I just lost my train of thought. But, okay, so you were talking about how you've come so far from when you lost, you know, 75 pounds or whatever, and you still have 20 more you'd like to do, right? Now, sometimes maybe somebody on this call who might be listening to the playback or something, maybe they are at the very beginning of their weight loss journey and they have 100 pounds to go. And they don't really have that success to look back on, but all they do have to look back on is kind of like what you were mentioning. 20 years ago, I could keep up with these guys, you know, and I could ride the bike. And so if you don't have a weight loss story to look back on and feel like, look how far I've come, you do have, you know, most of us, I should say, can remember a time when you had more energy or you had more ability to do the activities that you want to do. So even if that's not your situation, kind of the same principles apply there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Trent, that's amazing. That's so cool. So you're on your bike again and doing stuff?
Yeah, if I could, I mean, I'd be riding more if I could get my butt out of bed. But yeah, tying back to what we discussed last.
That's awesome. Yeah, and speaking of that, I'm remembering, so it's you know, Easter's coming up and we've done Easter egg hunts with my kids and stuff, and total self-sabotaging situation I've set up for myself. A lot of it begins at the grocery store. Like when you go to the grocery store, what are you buying? So I buy all these treats for my kids, and then I put them, you know, in my house, and I know where the bags are. And it's funny because I go through phases where I wouldn't even touch those kinds of things. Like, it doesn't even sound good at all to me. I'd much rather have a salad or whatever, or drink some water, and it just doesn't even sound good. But lately this week, for whatever reason, that is something that is sounding good. And so I'm going and I'm finding those bags that I've had. So I had to literally pick them up and go hide them and hope that I forgot where they were, because I was sabotaging myself because I, you know, set that up. And that's not what I want. And so I'm going to try and make that different. And the same thing goes with, you know, crackers or whatever it is you're buying for your family or whoever it is you're buying it for. Buy what's going to be put you in the setup for the most success, because that's also going to set up your family and whoever else is in your household for success too. And not to say we need to deprive them of things, but we don't. We're gifting them help, in my opinion.
Right.
Anyway, Tracy, anything you want to share along those lines, or?
Well, just what you were just talking about made me think. I think it was something I read in the last challenge about. We don't have to bring unhealthy foods into the house. And I realized, wow, that gives me permission to say to my husband and to my son, you know, it isn't just people who have to lose weight that shouldn't eat unhealthy foods.
Right.
They're both at a very good weight. So I think they were, you know, they eat the chips and the bagels and I said, you know, we could do this as a family because it's healthier. And it really helped because my husband said, yeah, you're right. We have a lot less junk food in the house now that I don't have to be tempted with. And then you'll laugh at this, but what we finally did, because of the nighttime snacking, we have a pantry where most of that stuff is, you know, if there are chips or nuts or cereal, because I used to love to have a bowl of cereal at night. Favorite thing. So what we did was we switched the lock on the pantry. I went to the hardware store and got a door that has a lock with a key. And when my husband goes to bed earlier than I do, I lock the pantry, I give him the key, he hides it there, and the pantry's done. And then I'm like, good, it's not in the house. It's in the pantry that I can't see.
I love that. And even if your body or whatever, you're not strong enough to say, I don't want it or whatever.
Right.
It's just too much work. I have to go find the key, and then I have to open the key. You know what I mean? Like, even though you could still get it.
I've never gotten to that point, Julia. If I get to the point where I'm hunting for the key, I'm calling you up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was doing that same thing this morning, and this is terrible, but I did buy Lucky Charms for my kids for like that holiday. Is that April?
My favorite.
What is it? Leprechaun Day or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So we had a bunch of those in the house, and my kids were eating that for breakfast, and I thought, oh, that sounds kind of good. Well, what I did, I pulled out my little Metafast cereal, that cereal berry crunch stuff. That stuff is so good, honestly, and I felt good after I ate it. And so I was just happy that I took that one moment. Same thing happens if you go out to dinner. It takes just that one moment and that one choice of almost sometimes when I first got started in eating healthier, I had to like throw up this word out of my mouth. I felt like give me the salad, you know, or I want to order the salmon and the veggies, you know, and I just was like, make myself do that, and then it comes, and I'm so happy. Once it's there in front of me, it looks awesome and it tastes awesome. But when you're looking at all the other options on the menu, you come kind of that almost paradigm of when you're looking at what you can't have and you focus on what you can't have, not that you can't have anything on our program. You can have anything you want, right? But when you have focus on those things that aren't going to bring you what you want, ultimately, then it's hard. But when you focus in what's in front of you is what can, it's joyful. Like, it's really good. So anyway, that is kind of, I don't need to make this meeting go on any longer because they're supposed to be quick. But thanks so much for getting on, and join the challenge, Trent. Grab your friends. It's much more fun to have people on there, but even if it's just us, it's still a helpful thing. So thanks so much. You guys are awesome.
No, thank you, Julia.
Is there a certain day or time that you guys like for doing these little weekly Zoom things?
Yes.
Friday mornings usually work best for me.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. And So just always watch, and you can get the 25 points for checking in with your coach because this is like a
Woo!
total verbal
Sweet.
connection. So, alrighty, thanks you guys. Take care.
Thanks. Y'all have a good weekend.
You
You
too.
too.
Happy Easter.
See you.
I'll say
Bye.
hi to Ruby's for you.
Have fun.
Okay, you do that. That's awesome. Have a good time.
Thanks.